What's up, folks? David Soto Jr. here, and this is the David Soto Jr. podcast. What's up, folks? Welcome to episode 50 of the David Soto Jr. podcast. I am your host, David Soto Jr. 50 episodes. I guess that's a big deal, even though I've probably would have hit that a long time ago had I not taken a couple of breaks. But who knew that I would make it this far? Who would, dang it, who knew that I would be able to talk for just this much to record 50 episodes of podcasts. Oh, should I take some deep breaths? I have little baby boy on the baby monitor. He's still asleep. Got his head pushed up against the wall of the crib. If you're on YouTube, I'll show you. That's my baby boy sleeping. So while he's still asleep, while Mama's still asleep, I thought I'd record a podcast episode. Got the holidays coming up and stuff, so I'm gonna record one in advance. And we'll see what happens. Again, number 50. So what I want to talk about is, maybe we'll just title this The Importance of Journaling. I've covered this a little bit on my YouTube channel. I've talked about it. And I've talked about 6 months to live before. But what I have in the works and what I have been working on is making my own journal. Now, here's the thing. I know it works for me after all of these things that all of these motivational speakers and authors and everything, and anywhere from Zig Ziglar, one of my favorites, or my favorite by all means, all the way to like modern day, like Brene Brown, or even Gary Vee, who doesn't really want to consider himself a motivational speaker, yet he is one. I got coffee. So after, I don't know, let's say 98, that's 20 years. Around 20 years of listening and reading all of this material, I didn't really, I don't know, it sounds cheesy to say I developed, but I've learned I've taken what I feel is important out of that, and it came down into a journaling process that I did every night before I went to bed. That's why this journal is called Just Before Bed Journal, because just before bed, I annotate things. Now, I am a quick and to the point, short and to the point, brief and to the point kind of guy. So I write down 5 bullet points every night under these categories. The categories are accomplishments, gratitude, and affirmation. Accomplishments, gratitude, and tomorrow's to-do list, like things that I have to do tomorrow. I did this alone for several years. And what I did was write it down in a little spiral notebook that I had left over from God knows when. I think maybe when I was waiting tables, and I used this to write down my orders. But I found that these little notebooks had about 18 lines in them. And because I wrote down under 3 different categories, I wrote 5 bullet points under 3 different categories, that those seemed to be a perfect fit. And I wrote down these little bullets every day. It got a little, now this is a funny thing, is like the journaling technique that I developed works perfect, and it did for several years on a little notepad that you can get from Target. You want an ugly one, you get it from Walmart. You want a nice one, you go to Target. And I write in pencil. I've always liked writing in pencil. So I write in pencil. So I don't know, for maybe like $3, you can do this process yourself. It won't cost you very much. But I could continue. So for maybe like $3, I could continue doing this process and journaling and stuff. But the problem is that I'm so brief and to the point. I'm efficient. I'm lazy. I don't know. But I want these things, these lines already there for me. I want the headings. I want the numbers. I don't want to have to write all that down. I want to open and turn to the page and write the stuff that I want to write down every night. I want it to be as quick and easy and painless as possible. So I created the Just Before Bed journal. Now, I bought a journal. Now, so here's the thing. I know I can buy a little ass notebook and write this stuff down just like I have been doing. The benefits I know are there. It's life-changing. It's if I told you that you can have everything in life you want just by writing it down, you're not going to believe me. But if you do it, you will eventually believe me. It will happen. Things will change. It's just a matter of, are you going to do it or not? Are you going to do the work? This is very, very, very minor work. 10 minutes before you go to bed, if that. Don't believe me. Don't do it. I don't care. I know that I need it in my life and that it helps me and that I can have everything I want just by writing it down. This is that tool. This is the thing that I need. And so I bought a journal, paid money to use somebody else's journal because I wanted to get back into the process. I wanted a journal. I didn't want to just blank pages. I wanted some stuff laid out for me. So I bought one and I started using it, and it didn't have what I wanted in it. You know, it had some prompts. Hey, write down this. How are you feeling? Blah, blah, blah. But it's not the stuff that I know works for me. And so what I ended up doing was saying, like, I can do better than this. And I have previous experience publishing books, so I created it. And I created the Just Before Bed journal and got a book cover made super cheap. Now, I will admit that Amazon's print-on-demand paperback, like as awesome as it is that I can write paperback books and publish them, I hate that the top, that the cover curls. So that's the one negative thing about self-publishing through print-on-demand. Amazon's print-on-demand is that the top page curls. So I don't know, turn it face down, but that's the one thing that sucks. Also the thing, so I bought a journal, I used it, I'm like, this sucks, this isn't what I want. And then I said, I'll make one. And in making one, I realized that I'll have enough space for one more thing that I think is very important that I should do daily. And that's going to be affirmations. Now, you can think what you want about affirmations, but they work. And I was probably skeptic too when I first started hearing about it. Oh, write down these things that you want and then they'll happen. And like, yeah, whatever. But then they did. But then I started writing and like, whatever. I mean, when you hit rock bottom or you feel pretty low in your life, and you'll do anything you can to try and improve it. And for me, I was probably going through a divorce and getting fired from my first job outside of active duty military, and having to move back to Missouri. It just was, life was just rough for me. And that's when I realized, like, I'll do whatever it takes. So I started following processes laid out to me by Zig Ziglar, of all people. And what happened was, I didn't get results right away, so I kind of gave it up. Like, forget this. But I did stay on point with what he called his performance planner, which may be irrelevant in this day and age with everything being available. Like, you had to buy these, you had to order these planners, and they came in and they were hardbound and they had little ribbons in them to save your space. But with technology, I mean, that was 20 years ago. So with technology, they're almost irrelevant. But one thing I did while using that journal was write stuff down and write my goals down. And instead of just saying someday I wish I'll have, I'll be an author, I wrote down I am a published author. First person present tense, affirmations, wrote them down. And did that over and over again for a long time. Then I gave up on these stupid journals. I put them away. I'm like, this isn't doing me any good. Now, I did it for years. Several years. It got to the point that my stepmom would get me one of these journals every year for Christmas, and which was perfect because at the end of the year, I started them in January. But eventually, I gave up. I must have felt like this isn't working. This isn't worth a shit. I probably was achieving some things, but the main thing on my mind was money, right? As a young man, I think all my problems would be solved if I had more money. I got car trouble, I need money. I don't like where I live, I need money. I'm single and I want to take girls on dates, I need money. I didn't get rich. And a lot of these, the one thing about motivational speakers and authors, it seems as if it's all surrounded, or the main topic is success. And for most people, success is equated with money. So I thought, well, this isn't working. I've been doing this for years and I'm still broke as fuck. So I stopped with the writing of stuff down. Then I don't know what happened. A couple of years passed. Maybe I went to Iraq. Maybe I came back. But I was going through stuff in my dad's house, or maybe my own house, and I found all those old journals, all those old performance planners, and I started flipping through them, and I started saying my old goals, and I was like, holy shit. Everything that I've written down, that I wrote down back in 1998, has come true. Everything that I wrote down has come true in one form or another. It's just mind-blowing. Like, I gave up on it. And so, but what ended up happening was it worked. And so I put two and two together right away, and I was like, oh, I have to get back doing this. This worked. This gave me everything that I wanted. Now what I want. Now what do I need? And I started writing stuff down again. This time I just left out all that other stuff, what was included, and I just started writing down my goals, first person present tense, the things that I wanted. And this process, when I went back and looked at stuff again, the whole thing of looking back at these old planners and realizing that everything I wrote down came true, this process happened over and over again over the years. As I continued to write stuff down, I would go back and look at stuff and see that I had achieved it. Now, sometimes I would write stuff down every day. Sometimes I write it down once a week. Sometimes I write it down every month. Sometimes it would go even longer. But every time I go to write down all of my goals, in this case, it was several pages worth of affirmations, I would have to cross one off or put a check mark by it or something because I achieved it. And then I'd have to replace it with another one. Everything I wrote down came true. Maybe there are some exceptions. There was one that I wrote down for many years that was I am a full-time student, because I wanted to be a full-time student. I wanted to go to school. Like, I didn't get to go to school as a young man, and as I got older, I realized that I wanted to study some stuff. I realized that I learned a technique or a way for me to study that helped things out. I was ready, and I didn't have any money, and I turned down the GI Bill as an 18-year-old kid, so I didn't have my GI Bill. Later in life, I rejoined the Missouri National Guard. 9/11 happened. Post 9/11 GI Bill came up. here I am. I have almost 100% tuition. I have stipends. I have book money. I have everything that I want to be a full-time student. I enroll in school, sign up for a full course of classes, and realize that I didn't want to do it anymore. So two things happened. One is I created an opportunity for me to be a full-time student because I wrote down I'm a full-time student for so many years, for so long, but my mind changed. I changed my mind. That goal was no longer something that I wanted, and I had to walk away from it. And so I'm glad I did. I did not. I ended up going to Mexico instead. But it worked. Writing it down worked. The opportunity came. It took years, but the opportunity came and it was there. And unfortunately, by the time it did, it's no longer a goal that I wanted. And it's just funny how that works out. So there may be a few things that don't manifest itself, but chances are it's for a good reason. You think of Garth Brooks' song, some of God's greatest gifts are unanswered prayers. Whether you believe in God or the universe or whatever it is, science, if you have the ability to manifest whatever you want, but if some of these things don't happen and don't come true, it's for a good reason. But majority of the things will come true. That's where journaling comes in. That's where the affirmations part of journaling comes in. The rest is accomplishments. Give yourself a pat on the back. Give yourself 5 pats on the back every day. Write down an accomplishment, and even if it's minor, like walk 10,000 steps, or maybe you only walk 5,000. Maybe you just moved, didn't sit on my ass all day. That's an accomplishment, right? Didn't eat sugar. That's an accomplishment. Or published a book, right? That's certainly an accomplishment. Won an award, got recognized for this. It doesn't matter. An accomplishment, it doesn't matter how big it is. It's an accomplishment, and we need to give ourselves our propers. We need to give ourselves pats on the back. Too many of us think that we're unworthy, and that the things we do aren't worth acknowledgement. And that's wrong, son. It's wrong. We need to acknowledge the things that we do. If it's being a father, if it's going to work every day, if it's being a mother, if it's having dinner ready, anything. We need to acknowledge. We need to give ourselves as humans, as humans. We need to give ourselves acknowledgement and for the things that we accomplish every day, because we deserve it. Gratitude. Do I even have to explain what good gratitude does? Expressing gratitude on a daily basis. The one thing I love about this journal when I started doing this was, if I hadn't been grateful for anything all day long, I'm going to just before I go to bed, because I'm making myself write down 5 things. Not only do I have to write them down, I have to think of them. And I have to think of them, and I have to be grateful for it. So I'm like, right now it's easy. I'm grateful for my son. I'm grateful for my wife. And I write down, and it can be really, sometimes it's food, shelter, and water. I'm grateful for having food, shelter, and water. I live in a house. I don't like this house necessarily, but damn it, it is keeping me warm. It's keeping my wife warm. It's keeping my son warm. It's protect us from the elements. I've lived in worse. I live in a van for even when I lived in a van, I was grateful for it. One time I was walking the streets of Boulder, coming from a coffee shop. I parked my van and I wanted to get my steps in, so I walked to a coffee shop. I come to a corner, I see a guy holding a sign. He's getting paid cash for holding a sign for jewelry or silver or whatever. a shop. And he goes, "Hey, good morning." And we start talking to each other. He goes, "Are you an outside person?" And I was like, "Yeah, kind of. I have a van." He's like, "Oh, that must be nice." Like, this dude has to sleep outside, probably along the creek or something, on the ground. And I have the comfort of a van. I had it with blankets and a sleeping pad, and it could rain and I would be good to go. It could be windy. I've been in dust storms. I've been in snowstorms. I've been in all, and I lived in my van, and I was grateful for that. One of the things I love doing is going to bed and curling up and being nice and warm and really thanking God, or being grateful for the fact that I have a warm bed to sleep in. People do not do this enough. I did not do this enough. And this journal makes me do it every night. And I have to be grateful for 5 things. And they can be anything. It's not what you're grateful for, it's that you are expressing gratitude. Something that I think we need to do more of. And the last item that I will write down every day is tomorrow's to-do list. There actually was a scientific study in which they did. People wrote down what they had to do. They got better sleep, 9 minutes more, something like that. I don't know. I don't care about studies. My writings are based off common sense, but they're if you need a study, scientific backing, which I wrote an article that said I don't give a fuck about science, because sometimes science is wrong, and there's examples. There's a study that backs every thought or possibility. We can read a study on how good vegetarianism is, and we can read a study how bad it is for you. There's going to be one that supports every aspect or every side of every opinion, point of view. So I really don't care, but I did come across one that said people sleep better when they write things down. I think I do. And I learned that a long time ago about when I was working as a supervisor. I learned to write stuff down on a to-do list and then leave work. And then I also left work. All my mental, everything I had to think about work was written down. I didn't have to worry about, am I going to forget this, because I had already written it down. Tomorrow when I come to work, there's my list. I don't have to remember it because it's going to be there. And I realized that I can, later in life, I didn't necessarily have a job, whether it was self-employed, whether it was mini retirement, but still writing things down that I have to do the next day kind of relaxes me, kind of unloads that stuff off my mind. Another benefit may or may not be that by writing these things down right before bed, you kind of put them in your subconscious and you work on the solutions while you're asleep all night long. So you may wake up in the morning with like, hey, which I'm gonna think about. That's when I wake up in the morning, man, my mind is going. I have a lot of solutions and problems. That's cool. But yeah, that is those are the things that I write down every day. And unfortunately, I did this for 30 days already, and I'm out, and I need to order more. But I'm not going to order more without proofreading. So I'm proofreading, I'm editing, and then I'm going to have another round of beta users, beta readers, do some more editing, and hopefully, with any luck, this will be ready by the new year. Around New Year's resolution time. One last thing that's in here. Is what I call the 6 months to live to-do list. Now, I already talked about this in a podcast. Let me see. Do I have an episode number for you? Episode 41, You're Gonna Die, so act like it. That is about my 6-month to live to-do list. Now, I'm writing this book or just journal. I want to put as much content in it as possible. It's already small. It's just barely 100 pages. But I needed to add a little bit more content. And then I thought, why not? Because if you already have this journal, you already have a place to write stuff down. Why not write down one of the most important things that I've discovered in recent years, and that's writing a 6-month to live to-do list. I'm not going to go into that now because I went into it in episode 41, so check it out. That title is You're Going to Die. But episode 50, folks, I'm talking about my just before bed journal. I am making this for me. If I sell 1 million of them, awesome. That would be great. I can send my kid to college, and I can buy my family a house. I have a good down payment on one at least. Like, that would be great. But honestly, as the publisher, I can get these super cheap, and then I can get my life on track, because that's the whole purpose of me creating this, is for me to have this thing that I want. I created this for me. I'm sharing it. If you want it, you can go buy one when they're available. Not yet, but Amazon. Just search on Amazon. Just before bed journal. Okay, let me see. Let me check on baby boy. It's 8:30. Oh, he's not moving. He's still sleeping. So, folks, my name is David Soto Jr. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at David E. Soto Jr. David E. Soto Jr. I would have loved to just be David Soto Jr., but some other dudes got that, so I have to have David E. Soto Jr. Find me on Twitter, find me on Instagram, find me on Amazon. I write a bunch of books. I'm writing more. Find me on Goodreads. What's my name on Goodreads? David Soto Jr., I think. Profile. Find me on Goodreads. Leave me a review for some stuff. I should put this journal on here coming soon, I think. Maybe I already did. I'm on all the socials. Just before bed journal is on there. Go on there and put want to read just before bed journal on Goodreads. On Goodreads. I'd appreciate it. I appreciate you tuning in. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can see that I'm wearing glasses. I'm officially an old man. It's over. My life is over. Thanks for tuning in, folks. I appreciate it.